here on the top of the boat with me. How's everybody up here doing?
Good.
Okay, excellent. Now what people down below don't know is that we have a jacuzzi up here and a bar. And wow, this is the place to be. No, just kidding. There's no jacuzzi. But feel free to roam around the boat, go where you want all during the trip. You don't have to stay in one spot. We have a lot of room, so feel free to roam around and go wherever you want all during the trip. We are going to start by taking you out of Frenchman Bay and out to an island, which is about 35 minutes from here. It has the second largest lighthouse on the coast of Maine. It's called Petite Manans, and the lighthouse is 119 feet high. There are thousands of seabirds that gather there during the summer to nest on that island, and it's one of the islands on which puffins nest here on the coast of Maine. And so that's that little black and white bird with the brightly colored bill and the bright orange feet. And so we'll have a chance to see puffins at Petite Manans. When we arrive there, we're going to stop the boat at the island. We'll sit there for 10 or 15 minutes. We'll have a chance to see the birds in the water, flying by the boat, up on the rocks. And hopefully we'll also have a chance to talk to the research staff that live out on the island studying seabirds all summer. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service placed 4 scientists out there for the summer season, and they're out there right now. This is one of the most important seabird nesting islands in the Gulf of Maine. Now, once we're done at Petite Manans, then we're going to travel offshore out eventually about 25 to 30 miles out from Bar Harbor to the south of us. Out there, the water depth drops from 200 to 300 feet down to 500 and 600 feet. There's a shelf there where the water depth kind of falls off. It's right at that shelf break all along the coast of Maine. Once you get out about 20 miles, that's where we have a better chance of finding more large whales. And a lot of this really has to do with the great tides that we have here in the Gulf of Maine and the oceanography, and the fact that where the shallow water meets the deep water, there's a lot of upwelling. Okay, upwelling means the cold water is welling up from below, from down deep in the ocean. It's rising up off the ocean floor. It's bringing a lot of nutrients to the surface and a lot of element-rich water, which is important to the little plants in the ocean which feed on the elements. And a whole food chain blooms out there of plant life, right? Phytoplankton. If you look down the water, you'll notice the water here is green in the Gulf of Maine. That's because it's so rich in plant life. And then that becomes food for the little animal life, zooplankton, and that becomes food for everything else up the food chain. That's why the whales are here, right? The 4 larger species of whale that we more commonly see, the humpback, the finback, the minke whale, the right whale, these are all baleen whales that have baleen in their mouth instead of teeth, and they use baleen to filter food out of the water. During the summer months, from spring through the summer and fall, they're here feeding. This is a feeding area. It's a destination for them. They're not migrating by. They come into the Gulf of Maine and they stay here all season. At the end of the year, once we get into November and December, then they start to make their migration south. A lot of them vacate the Gulf of Maine, although not all of them. Some will stay here during the winter. But the humpback whales, most of them will go to the Caribbean for the winter, right? They vacation down there. And they go to the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. And while they're there for many months mating, they go without food. A large humpback whale can lose over 20,000 pounds of weight during the winter. So when they come back here, they're hungry. This is a critical time of year. They need to eat a lot of food. And they're feeding on small fish, Atlantic herring or sardines here. Down off of Massachusetts, they eat a lot of sand lance and other silvery small fish. They'll eat krill, which are shrimp-like plankton. So it's important for them to eat a lot every day and build up that thick layer of blubber. Now, while they're here feeding, they'll work in groups cooperatively if there's a lot of food, and that's one of the most exciting things we can see. And when they dive down to feed, they lift their tails out of the water. And our local whale research group here at College of the Atlantic, which is where I went to school, right here in Bar Harbor, Allied Whale, discovered that you can tell each individual humpback whale apart by the pattern on the underside of the tail. You can photograph that tail. Now there's over 8,000 different humpback whales in